Or you're a person like yourself that's been very brave for all these years, because you were talking about this stuff in the 1960s, which is pretty crazy.
Well, I had seen essentially a flying saucer when I was 15. So
can you describe it?
I was in. I grew up in a town that's about 45 minutes out of Paris, on the road to Normandy. And my father was a judge in that town for a while. And beautiful afternoon in the summer. I don't know the exact date. It would have been late June or July. 1955. So I was about 15, 16. I was still in school, and then the following year I was going to go to the university. And my mother called me. I was working with my father, who was relaxing, doing some furniture, and I was helping him. And I heard my mother call from the yard, and I went down and saw an object that was absolutely a saucer. It looked like it was over the steeple of there's a cathedral there, and we were about half a kilometer away from it. And it was just suspended. It was silver, and there was a clear dome on top of it. And we both saw that. It was very clear. And then the next day, I asked a friend of mine from school, who was, we were the two good students in physics and so on. And I told him I had seen that. And he said he had looked at it with binoculars. He had seen it too. And he had looked at it with binoculars, and I got him to draw it. And he drew exactly what I had seen, essentially a lens-shaped thing with a clear dome on top.
How long did you see it for?
I saw it for less than a minute. I think I went inside. I don't remember what I did. Logically, I probably went inside to get my father so that he could see it.
And then when you came out, it was gone?
He didn't even come out. He said it was probably one of the new planes that were flying around, because this was a time when the meteors and the early jets were being tried, and they were training pilots with them and so on, and both for civil aviation and for the Air Force in France. So he said, well, let's wait, maybe this will be disclosed at some point. So I didn't say anything about it. Also, I'm the son of a judge. Family of a judge isn't supposed to see strange things in the air over the town. And
right.
So it was sensitive.
What year was this? When you were 15? How old are you now?
It was 1955.
1955. So back then...
I was 15, 16.
Okay, so we could also apply that, if it was a jet, it would probably be very loud.
Well, and also it wouldn't just stand there.
Right, it wouldn't be able to just sit there. Was this thing quiet?
After that, I understood that it was... After that, I worked at Paris Observatory, after I had my degree in astronomy, tracking satellites. We tracked the very early satellites. And we were a government, office, so people were writing to us with what they had seen. And most of it we could explain. For one thing, they were seeing echo, and they were seeing some of the Russian rockets, And so we would write back. We had to write back, to French citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I had a card with a French flag on it, and we were serving the population. So we would explain those things pretty much the way they do now. You've seen the moon rising through the fog, or you've seen satellite, so much alpha 23. But then there were cases where, just like that, where they saw something we could not explain. But then we would tell them, but we wouldn't publish it. We wouldn't send it anywhere. For one thing, it wasn't our job. Our job was tracking satellites.
Right, but that one experience that you had when you were 15 is what ignited your interest in this for so many years. Yeah. Well, if you hadn't been doing, I mean, the thing that's very important about people like yourself is that you're so careful in how you document these things and in the conclusions that you draw. Because I think this field of UFO study is filled with so many people that claim to have answers, claim to know things, and this is going to happen, and this is coming, and this is disclosure's imminent, and that's not. It never comes true. It's always you're just left waiting for some new evidence that supposedly they have. And this is the more frustrating aspects of it. Like when talking to Christopher Mellon, he's telling me there's high-resolution photographs and video, and how about showing me? Show me some stuff. Show me something. Because as a person I wasn't, when I was 15, I didn't see anything. So I don't have that experience that you have. I just have this fascination with it, but also tempered by a little bit of cynicism because there's so much malarkey that's attached to this subject.
Well, and some of it is, some of it is legitimate.
Yeah.
And I think ufologists in general, they want disclosure, but we don't know. I'm very respectful of, when I had the clearances, I was just very respectful of those clearances because there are people who know what's on the other side of that.